just the better you get at it. And I really consider myself a baby at it. This, again, was about a 4-hour exposure. And many times more than 4 hours in processing.
And you've only been doing this for about 4 years.
Yeah. Again, it's because there's so many resources online. We're bringing you the Hubble Messier catalog online with all its information. There's lots and lots of helpful resources out there about astrophotography.
The Messier catalog is such an inspiration to me because, sort of wrapping it all up again, we talked about avoiding these things that aren't comets, but instead it turns out to be the catalog of wonders. I mean, everything from dead stars to baby stars to these vast galaxies that you took a picture of. Well, in some strange way, we have Charles Messier to thank for all that, even though it wasn't what he was looking for.
Yes, he found 13 comets on his own, remarkable for the instruments he had, and operating from the center of Paris. Can you imagine it? In an observatory there. And he co-discovered 7 others with his friends. So the man found 20 comets in his lifetime. Very, very remarkable for the instruments that he had and the place that he was doing it from. Try to even discover one from the center of Paris right now. Pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
Are you ready for another question?
Sure.
Alejandro wants to know, what are your favorite locations for stargazing? I guess I can ask both of you that question.
Well, I just mentioned the Atacama Desert, but that's kind of hard to get to. So, it is amazing to me how much you actually can see from a relatively dark backyard. If you can get yourself to an area with a nice clear horizon, I've seen comets through small binoculars. I've seen small telescopes where you can see the rings of Saturn. Saturn in particular is an object, obviously a lot closer to us than the Messier objects are, but this is one of the things where if you're a little disappointed by the Andromeda galaxy just being a smudge, when you see Saturn and its rings right there in front of you, and the moons of Saturn as well, that's something that just floored me the first time I saw it. It looked like somebody had taken a picture of Saturn from a textbook and just kind of pasted it on the end of the telescope. So some of these objects are actually very easy to see. They're very bright, so you don't need a dark sky to see them.
Yeah, that's right. The moon and planets, in even a very modest-sized scope, can be a unforgettable experience. As you mentioned, seeing the rings of Saturn, I've been at so many star parties, we call them. We have telescopes out and have fun with the heavens. It's so fun to see people see the moon or the planet Saturn or Jupiter with its moons and bands for the first time. They never forget it. I never forgot it. That's really what got me into astronomy many years ago, seeing Saturn. There's a connection with the universe that you feel, and it's really unforgettable. But where would I go? Around here, I have a brother-in-law that lives down in Virginia in the mountains, and so that's a good spot to go. And the Eastern Shore is a pretty good dark spot with nice horizon, so you can see things from horizon to horizon. But if I were going to pay money and go someplace, it would probably be Chile or someplace like that, or Hawaii, to be on the top of a mountain where all the other great telescopes are, and observe from there.
And one thing I have to say is take advantage of your local amateur astronomy societies, because pretty much wherever you are in the United States, there's a local club where if you don't know what sort of telescope you'd like, if you don't know how to use a telescope, if you don't know where the nearest dark sky areas are around you, your local astronomy club will know these things.
That's right.
And they are an incredible resource. And as a professional astronomer, I would go to these large observatories and people would type the coordinates into computers and I would make my observations. I often feel that the amateur astronomy community are the real astronomers. They're the people that really know the sky like the back of their hand.
Right. Amateur astronomy groups will also love to show you their telescopes. And so you can try before you buy if you go to a club. And that's also helpful.
Great. It's kind of like asking someone about their job, asking someone about their telescope. They can talk for days and days, right? So unfortunately, we only have time for one more question. We're going to keep answering some of your questions on Facebook as they're coming in later on, but unfortunately we only have so much camera time. So one more question. What is your favorite object you viewed through a telescope?
Oh, is that choosing between your children?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I guess, well, we just mentioned Saturn. So, I think that probably actually is my favorite. In the southern sky, there's something called the Carina Nebula. And the Carina Nebula is an area where you can see star birth and star death all happening at once. there are young clusters of stars, and then there's a star called Eta Carina, which is actually very close, we think, to blowing itself up in a supernova explosion. This part of the sky has these vast bands of dark dust and bright gas. And I have to say, those are some of the things that I've seen with my own eyes when I was living in the southern hemisphere that just blew me away. I mean, this is probably the closest thing I've seen with my naked eyes looking through a telescope that actually looked like a Hubble image. So Eta Carina would have to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, and for me, it is like deciding between your children, I guess. I really love visually at M11, that wild duck cluster, because when you first look at it in the scope, you can imagine how Messier didn't see any stars in it. They're very, very close, and yet you zoom in, and it's almost like the fly-throughs that we saw. It turns into something else, and it's in the heart of the Milky Way, where it's surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of stars to begin with. And so it's I don't know how to describe it. It's just beautiful. I could look at it for a long time.
If we do